already?
Well, let's wait until that starts up first.
Yeah, it's just going now.
Check out this Genshin Impact stream from 5 seconds ago.
Seconds.
Yeah. I anticipate the first time we do this, there's going to be a ton of technical difficulties.
Oh, yeah.
I guess
Well,
we can
now-
do like a semi Q&A session. Like people pose a question or something if they have anything to say, or
Yeah,
even raise a hand. How do people raise a hand in here? I don't know. I wonder.
I think they have to like request to like speak.
Oh, so complex. So
Well, okay, it's better than like people just jump in and be like crowding in.
fair is fair.
Yeah, like if you look at the staging channel, you can see the audience and you can see when they're requesting to speak. Or I guess people can just talk in the no mic for VC.
Yeah. We'll eventually get that set up. Well, actually, I don't know if we ever get that set up, considering they haven't fixed their OBS plugin for well since inception.
Okay, what's the Twitch link again?
The Twitch link is this.
Oh, why, yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, Vaughn's here. Let's get him in.
Against his will, just drag him in.
Yeah.
You're part of it now.
I mean, he's pretty much be shoehorned in everywhere. He has full permission on the source code. He's becoming an archon of code. He's how do I say? He's got the handle on the operations.
Yes. Does he have the release permission now?
I'm sure he actually has permission to push to like the GitHub page.
Yeah.
So he could effectively deploy his own website if he wants to.
Ooh, fancy. Yeah, the problem is like we don't have any of like your linkage. Like we don't have the Discord link, we don't have the Patreon setup and all that. So even if any of us other than you have it, we probably still shouldn't release it ourselves. It caused a problem last time too.
Yeah, there's gonna be linking issues because there's some local environmental stuff that only I have. And then there's also the matter that no one can create a new character because I have all the game assets on my local PC.
Oh yeah, that too. How large
There's
is the
actually
game asset now?
the
It's
game
pretty
asset. The game asset folder is massive. It's like 13 gigabytes.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and also there's a questionable question about well, I definitely don't want to get a Mihoyo takedown letter, so
Cease and desist.
so I definitely don't want to upload the full 13 gigabyte asset folder on there.
Mood. Very mood.
How do they expect you to get the assets in the first place then?
I have no idea. Definitely not by like extracting the game data, that's for sure.
No, I just take a screenshot of the screenshot with a more watermark on the screenshot.
Oh, this is take the honey impact. Actually, I think at the beginning, what we basically did was that we take all the skill icons from the Genshin wiki, we download them one by one, we link them manually one by one.
Isn't that what
to
we did in
each
the beginning?
That's exactly what we did in the beginning. And then we go to Honey Impact and we say, oh, here's all the movement values. We copy them one by one. It got to the point where we have like we have like macros to basically say copy the website's table structure, convert it into a comma separated value list, and then convert the percentage values into actual numbers into the system.
That's what you get from doing it the dumb way, quote unquote the dumb way. Like you don't get to do a smarter way. You just get to do the dumb way more efficiently.
Yeah, so for the first 4 or 5 months of development for Optimizer, we were kind of just literally bonobo monkeys copying off of websites instead of using like the data mine.
Yeah, and then after we switched to data mine, there was quite a liberation.
Yeah, using the data mine has been, but I think after we started using the data mine, new problems start popping up. Translation errors. There, a lot of the skills and movement values just doesn't make sense in terms of monetary values that we have to manually convert.
Yeah, fair is fair. Fair is fair. Oh.
Okay, let me post. Oh, actually, the link is already here.
He already posted.
Yeah, so we see that there's already some people streaming in. Hello, everyone. This is our quote-unquote official stream.
Genshin Optimizer stream.
Genshin Optimizer stream. The one that's actually planned ahead of time instead of accidentally clicking on the staging channel and somehow pinging everyone.
Yeah, dude. Last time I got confused. I was like, "Ooh, what's this?" And then I become a speaker. Like, what the hell?
Oh yeah. Just being voluntary funneled into our own hubris.
Oh, so speaking of, hello everyone. If you got any question, you can post your question on like no mic for VC because of the way Discord works. We actually don't have any other ways to do the text. So
yeah, you can ask stuff in the Twitch stream as well. I'll monitor the Twitch stream.
Oh, sounds like a streamer for sure.
Oh no.
Well,
Scuff
I'm
streamer.
glad that yeah, should I take the part about copying from website manually as a personal attack?
Well,
you might. I mean, I certainly admit that at the beginning, it certainly felt very dumb of us to do that. We probably spent more time copying from Honey Impact than the time it took for us to build the entire parsing pipeline to generate from the data mine. What time is it for you? Currently, it's 6 p.m. for me. It should be 6 p.m. for Lanchura.
And it's 8 a.m. for me.
It's 8
Good
a.m.
Australian time.
Yeah, it's good.
Australian
time for staying, and I think for Vaughn is 5 p.m. Yeah, so instead of a culturally diverse, multicultural team, we basically have like 3 Asians and an Australian here.
Well, sounds diverse to me. Hey, look, non-Asian.
Yeah, but I think fundamentally we are diverse to the point that I think English is our only common language.
That is the truth. I think.
Yeah, think.
I mean, with only I and Frzyc is already just English.
Fair enough. Unless we're talking about TypeScript, then that's a entirely different language altogether.
I wouldn't call myself a TypeScript. I wouldn't call myself. I can speak TypeScript now.
Yeah. Anyways, Uniderp is in our Twitch chat. He's asking what are we guys gonna talk about, asking us if we had an agenda today.
Yeah,
we
little does he know.
Little does he know. We're literally gonna talk about anything that goes on, and if tangents happen, tangents will happen. Can anyone do pull requests on the GitHub? Anyone could do pull requests on the GitHub. Whether they get accepted is going to be another matter. But yeah, we do welcome I mean, the entire project is open source. You could read it from beginning to end and pretend to have an understanding of it. So
Yeah,
if you want to contribute in terms of code, feel free.
Yeah, at this point, I don't even pretend that I understand the code. Like, I just straight up say, yeah, no, I don't understand any of it. I just wing it. I just go
Yeah.
with the flow.
No, it's certainly gotten to a point where the optimizer is such a massive amorphous mass of ideas and over-engineered systems, and not one person have specific or at least a has the entire understanding of the system. So
Yeah,
the dev team has pretty much been like specialized into their own little closeted section of specialization. So if we ever have an issue, we at least know who to talk to first.
yeah. So long as they're not on strike or something.
So long as they're not on strike or
Who would do
playing
that?
Elden Ring,
Yeah, I wonder.
cheating on Genshin with other video games.
Yes.
How much you guys play Lost Ark? Currently, I think only me.
Oh, really? Yeah, I don't play Lost Ark. I only play Elden Ring so far.
Yeah.
That is such a time sink, and I love every second of it.
Dodge roll. Can't speak for Van, but I think a better question is how many of us play Genshin, and I think
sure don't.
according to at least the speakers of this podcast channel, 50%.
Better odds than the weapon banner.
That's for sure.
Okay, so now that we have rolled out the new UI, how's the feedback so far? I'm sure there are a few.
I think, I mean, for every time we make changes, especially in terms of the general workflow to how you build, generate builds within the website, there are gonna be people who are not used to how things work, or who are so used to how things work before that they're not very receptive to new changes.
Mm.
But I mean, I can't see us having to always accommodate the old layout and ideas. We're just gonna have to keep moving forward. And if people are uncomfortable, we have to figure out why they're uncomfortable with the new layout and how we could improve based on the new layout instead of constantly looking backwards.
I just gotta figure out like how much of it is like change a version, how much of it is actually problem with the design. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a big part of it. How do you have the time to develop and maintain the website? Originally, it's basically no sleep.
Basically.
Now it's basically no sleep, but also I have two other devs, so I could occasionally delegate work. You full time on it? I think back in the day, I was coding like 18 hours on the optimizer while having a full time job. Now I scaled back a bit, maybe like a few hours a day on the
Yeah,
optimizer.
like dude, I remember that one time I woke up at 4 and I found him coding on VS Code because it shows on Discord. So I was like, are you just woke up or did you not sleep? And then he's like, he's straight up not sleeping. And he has a meeting
Yeah.
at 6, which is like, that is wild.
Yeah. Now let's see. Notification. Live stages.
He is
Okay.
indeed programmer by day, programmer by night.
Yeah, no, it's getting kind of ridiculous because my regular day job, I write code as well, right? So like, it's getting to the point where it's like you spend 8 hours in front of a computer writing code for work, and then get off work, you write like 10 more hours of code for Optimizer, and then somewhere in between you eat and you try to have enough time to sleep. But usually those last two things are. I certainly don't condone this kind of I'll almost say toxic lifestyle, but
Totally
I'm just kind of bringing it into the reality. That's kind of what I did.
Yeah.
How did you start coding? I took a computer science course in high school, and the teacher was super chill, and I found the logicness and the ability to just write your own video games, because that's
And
basically what we did in high school. We took Java, a basic Java engine, and we just write video games. Kind of fun, and then we just kept going. Yeah, how did you
programming because
guess?
of the logic, and then like go on and code a UI.
Yeah, how did you get started on coding, Lanchua?
I think I was a pretty bad game addict, right, back in high school, and my dad just said like, you know what, if you wanna play a lot of game, why don't you make one and just enroll me in one of like tutoring for coding, which
Wow.
is yeah, and somehow I just got all the way up to here. Yeah, because like in the beginning, I learned HTML, which don't need to tell me is not a real programming language, but and then yeah, I start to say, okay, I want something more hardcore, and they just put me in the C++, which is quite lucky for me, because afterward when I went to university, like this kind of thing, it becomes pretty easy for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I started around the same time as you.
Interesting. I thought you got into it because of the math aspect.
Yeah, well, technically I didn't get into as computer engineering, but anyway, that's a story for another time.
Yeah. No, at the beginning I wasn't computer engineering either. I think I started as industrial engineering, and then I transferred
Oh,
to electrical engineering.
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, same. Huh. Yeah, I was lucky though. I was so close to become like a mechanical engineer, which I also love. But somehow, like after I transfer, all I've done all days is just like programming this, programming that, learn new programming languages, learn new algorithms, just for my own sheer fascination with it, with everything.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
People are asking what the user traffic like for the website. It's been hovering around 5,000, 6,000 users daily.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Think once we get more of the translation on the website to be more coherent and consistent, we might be able to hit larger markets across like I think a surprising amount of our user base are from Thailand, even though we currently don't have a single Thai translator.
Yeah. If only one of us know how to speak Thai, how to write Thai.
Yeah, if only one of us speak fluent Thai.
Yeah. Well, if you
Yeah,
don't know, the joke is that is me, by the way. Like I'm Thai, so. But
yeah.
anyway,
What about you, Van? How fluent is your Vietnamese?
I don't speak it basically. I
Oh,
understand like a little bit, but I also only understand Northern Vietnamese for the most part, which
I
is like a
see.
different dialect than Southern, which is the more common one, at least in
Yeah,
America.
yeah. I find I think the Duolingo is only for the Southern Vietnamese.
Probably makes sense.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I guess if you suddenly drop into the Vietnamese countryside and you need to find a bathroom, if you're unable to if you could just order a meal or find a bathroom you can live, that should be good enough language skills.
I don't think I could do that. I could understand what they said to me at least, I guess.
hmm.
uh, yeah, it's getting towards that point for me. I think if I ever go back to China or something, it's gonna be very difficult for me to It's gonna be a culture shock for me. That's how often do you take break, and when was your last break? I think it was like I'm still technically on my break. I'm still playing Lost Ark, I guess. I don't want to close down the game because there's a massive queue to get into the server.
That is pretty funny. Like,
It took me like 2 hours to like get into the server. I literally had to leave my computer running while the queue is up, make lunch, watch a documentary, come back, and then I have the permission to play Jeff Bezos' new Lost Ark game.
I haven't been to the website for a while. Let me see.
We're finally getting into the abyss suffering part of the suffering.
Oh, this part is not really suffering. It's just mind-numbingly easy at this point.
Yeah. I guess. Do you ever anticipate a day which they're going to make the 4, 9, or 10? Well, let's not say difficult, but I guess more mechanically interesting.
Nah. My hope is just that it's going to be...
Oh yeah, the sheer code one.
My hope's just going to be they're going to add more parallel floors, so you can use more teams.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I never really liked the DPS check aspect of this. I think at the end of the day, it become a race against attrition and investment instead of a good demonstration of what the game is actually good at, which is the variability of the characters and how they interact together. I mean, I guess if you want to get the higher limit on your damage, that's kind of what you have to do, is to like have a fundamental understanding of how your characters work in conjunction with each other. But for the earlier floors, you really don't have to worry about mechanics at all. It's just, you know, Hu Tao go Burr, or you know, Raiden go Booba.
Wait, is there any problem with the artifact with the database import anymore after we updated last time?
I think some people have like horrendously outdated databases in which the website doesn't say your database is out of date, but just goes a white screen.
Oh yeah, I saw someone with the database version 2.
Yeah, I don't even own a database version 2, or at least have an example with it. So
that is like what, January last year or something?
I think so.
Yeah, we should handle it a little more gracefully, but
we certainly should handle it a bit more gracefully, especially since we're no longer handling versions up until 8.
Speaking of handling, so a few days ago I tried to implement the max set filter. Much to my dismay. And oh god.
Max set filter?
Yeah, max set filter.
What does that mean?
Like the maximum number of artifacts in the set. Like just for those who like want to exclude the 4 Shiminawa or something. In a build setting.
I think you're making it too complicated.
Not really. Like the problem is like at this point I realized how I hate JavaScript and to a small extent TypeScript. Like it is such a complicated language. I have the entire algorithm in mind. Like I can write it up with my eyes closed, but when I try to write it
does not with TypeScript.
Yeah, it's like just with TypeScript, everything goes to like, okay, I need to check this, I need to check this, I need to like write a boilerplate just for me to get into the meat of the algorithm, and it really frustrates me.
I mean, you could just write it in JavaScript and then convert it to TypeScript.
I don't know. That's actually what I ended up doing, and I still hate it to the core.
But okay, but like if you write it in any sort of type-based framework, it's still gonna be the same thing.
I doubt that. It's more like JavaScript it is very lean on like trying to like have as little character as possible. I guess. I guess I try to copy it at the same time.
That's the issue. Is that you're literally trying to write a complicated algorithm by writing the minimum amount of characters.
Well. Yeah, I guess. Because to be honest, the algorithm isn't that hard. It's just the same as our previous algorithm, just add a little checking here and there. But it's like the previous algorithm was written in such a way that it is not changeable. Like it is not that malleable. So yeah. But anyway.
There's a question about public visibility of backlog. So we have a Trello page that's tracking basically like the big features on what's in the backlog, what we're currently working on. And then the GitHub issues page is more about bugs and feature requests. Those are most of the time they're like smaller stuff, minute detail stuff to work on. But yeah, if you want to know, I guess the roadmap, the Trello page is where I would direct you first. I say that I don't know if it's horrendously updated right now. It's not let's see. I think there's some cards that are outdated, but most of the stuff is still stuff that we need to work on. Wave Rider documentation, that's still going to be.
Yeah.
We have to explain how we do things.
Yeah, soon PM. Like, yeah. It would be nice if there is someone who knows how it works to write down how it works.
You mean like you, who knows how it works?
Yeah, if they only actually write it down.
Does it support MiHoYo artifacts? Oh, the level 20 artifact is the 1 subs? No.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
During like trials and I think in some of the story missions, they equip you with fake artifacts that are level 20, but doesn't fall under like like he only has like 1 substat roll or something each.
That's kind of weird. Yeah, fun is that because like the whole spiel of our artifact validation and all this damage number is it pretty hinge on the fact that this number is something that you can observe in game. Like if it passes the validation of Go, likely it is something that can exist in a game. You just like haven't seen it yet, or like if you see this damage number in Go, it probably is very close to what you should be seeing.
Yeah,
like that is entire here.
Yeah, we try to validate our artifact according to what you can see in game. Sure, those I guess fake MiHoYo artifacts are in game. It's just not in like the regular process of gameplay that it's unlikely that we'll ever accommodate.
Yeah, we went so much at length to that, and like MiHoYo just told us like, yeah, here's a 20 level 1 roll, haha.
Yeah, well, but, I mean, we could eventually accommodate it in some other way, but right now it's unlikely that we'll ever try something like that. Another question: what is the optimal way to input artifacts now? Okay,
if you don't mind a scanner.
If you don't mind using a third-party scanner, which might have the conflict with the strictest interpretation of Hoyo Labs' term of service, then use a scanner. We have a page of I guess approved tested scanners. on the website. Other than that, yeah, manually taking screenshots with PicPic is something you can continue to do. The scanner on the website isn't perfect because we have to accept a wide range of resolutions and use default language recognizing model, which doesn't recognize the Genshin font, at least specifically with the number ones. So you might have to, I guess, amend some of the scans manually, but it's still a working workflow if you don't want to use a third-party scanner that arbitrarily interacts with your Genshin client.
I could be tripping balls, but like, isn't there someone who also uses a scanner from the video, like where you take a video of you yourself moving the artifacts around, or like moving your cursor around?
Yeah, there was some.
Yeah,
There was someone who had a workflow where they take a video of themselves going through every single artifacts in their inventory, and then somehow either extracting specific screenshots within that video, or I think there's also a tool now that could parse that video, but it's not one that I use, nor is the one that is, I guess, on the mainstream enough. I'm not sure. Like, basically all the scanners and stuff are kind of vetted by us. That we talk to the developers, we test them out. We have a good number of people who would test them out. Or else
some of them are even in this Discord.
Yeah, most of them are in this Discord that we talk about. So that we talk to. So if the developer of the I guess the video scanner is on like the Genshin Dev Discord or something, we'll talk to them. We'll try out their scanner and you know, if it's all up to spec and they output their data in a format that we could recognize. So that's either the walnut format or the good format. We'll put them on the website.
Yes.
Oh, so someone in the Genshin Dev Discord is working on video-based scanner. Yeah, so you know, if that happens to be stable enough for the average end user, we'll start the process of evaluation and investigation.
Yes. I was the only one who knew how the engine works. With the god. Yes. Yeah, I remember this meme. I really love it every time. Like when I code something.
Now, what happens when you have a code conflict with the increment of total hours wasted here? What if two programmers have the same? What if two programs concurrently wasted their time here, and they both incremented the timer? See, this is badly implemented counter already. You need to have some sort of semaphore against our increments. Then you have a team management issue. Only one person should look at the hot code at once. Yes, it's the project lead, the project manager's issue. Do you prepare in advance future unreleased characters? Traditionally, and that's me saying, if it's traditionally has been me implementing those sheets, and it has gotten to the point where I usually procrastinate until they release the character. They release the data mine, which can be a day or two after the patch, and then wait until the Honey Impact uploads their interpretation of the data mine before I even started looking at the character. So usually a character is released on Go like a week after. I kind of don't start the character too early because I understand that a lot of our formulas and nuance requires people to actually theory craft the character beforehand. Like, we can't pretend to just say read the description of a character and understand inherently what it does.
Dude, so that is like an English translation of a Chinese description. It is written by someone who probably doesn't know the actual mechanics. So
yeah. In most cases, you know, we can kind of infer what's happening. If it's increased to skill, we kind of know 1 or 2 places in the formula where that number will go. If it's a shield, we pretty much have like a template for it. That kind of stuff can be done ahead of time. But I usually procrastinate too much to get it done ahead of time.
And in case of like there's some ambiguity, we just like lock it out sometimes. Like say we need more theory crafting. Sorry, disable for now.
Which character gave you the most pain to implement in the optimizer? Huh.
Ooh. Well, I mean, pre-wave rider or post-wave rider.
Yeah, I can speak for most of the pre-wave rider because I implemented most of the characters pre-wave rider, and I guess it will be characters either where there's so many random number going around that we had a process of validating and testing each number against a unit test. So I think Sayu was weirdly a very complicated one that's required a ton of validation. Well, and I guess Van can speak for I guess post-wave rider since he was quite instrumental in implementing most of the sheets. What would you think is the most complicated character that gave you the most trouble post-wave rider, Van?
Probably Kazuha. Thinking about it, like he has all the swirl stuff. I think you did Kazuha anyways, but he always had issues with like his team buff and how his A4 interacts with other people's EM transfer and that kind of stuff, basically.
Yeah, and we started the Kazuha page, but you pretty much taken the reign on it afterwards. Yeah, so I think we've up to now have like 10 different revisions and updates of Kazuha's page up until now, and I think even now we're still not perfect with it.
Yeah, that's usually a sign. When you update it so many times, it means like you're still not satisfied with it.
Yeah.
You're really not satisfied.
Originally, before Wave Rider, the most complicated characters are ones that we have to write, like we have to manually write formulas for. So for example, Ganyu's Bloom that had the specific 20% crit only to its Bloom damage. So those are custom formulas. Zhongli's HP based scaling, they're all custom formulas. Those all have to be written manually instead of using a boilerplate. But after Wave Rider, I think the most complicated characters are characters that are that have very complicated team buff effects.
Yeah. Like to be fair, team buff was added like midway through the development, so it was like kinda just snuck in somehow, and it's yeah.
Adding team buff was a kind of a weird time for us. We were in the middle of theory crafting how Wave Rider system was gonna work, and in doing so, we needed at least a trial run, or at least how do we say a basic implementation to kind of get all the problems out of the way. So so I kind of hacked together a team buff system. And that somehow has stayed.
Yeah, because let me just say that like if we don't include team buff, it would have finished at least like 3 weeks earlier, because that's how long it takes for me to like write down the team buff part of it.
I'd say even 3 months earlier.
Yeah, because we still iterated after a few times, and I rewrote the Wave Rider twice within that time frame because of the bloody team buff. Like,
yeah.
Can you imagine a rewrite within a rewrite within a rewrite?
Yeah, we've written Wave Rider like 3 times before we're happy with it, and then we rewrote again because the team buff just creates a whole different dilemma and situations.
Yeah. And also because things like Ganyu's Frostblade, that our UI could be taking much longer than it should. Because then I cannot like account that everyone is gonna have the same crit or everyone's gonna have the same attack, and so like I try to cache them. I try to like check if I can reuse the old calculation, But in the end, that checking costs a lot more. So yeah, if you have laggy UI, just blame MiHoYo for that.
Well, in general, I could say that we're still not 100% happy with the Wave Rider system, but it's functioning well enough that well, everyone can use it for now. There's specific quirks with it that we still need to work out, like all over-engineered evolving system. Is my level 1 Mona dead?
Yeah, she is. But don't worry about that.
You seem so abstinent in taking my level 1 Mona through this hell.
She can usually carry her weight. I just had a bad iframe moment.
Just blame the Discord. It is making the lag.
Yeah, the lag's worse.
Well, I mean, or you could blame Australia's Attorney General David what the hell is this wanker's name? David Atkinson or something?
I don't even pay attention.
I think he was quite instrumental in getting a lot of the video games banned.
Oh, yeah, that's probably stuff is more popular overseas, talking about how backwards Australia is. We just accept it.
I mean, I think video taxes in Australia are like, I think one of the highest in the world or something like that.
Yeah, would be.
Oh yeah, this is all the lecture floors now.
Oh well.
Actually, surprisingly, Yunjin, I think we got her right on like the first or second iteration.
Yeah.
Her mechanic was pretty much instrumentally implemented in a Wave Rider that she just suddenly worked.
I remember it was similar to Zhongli, right? Yunjin's mechanic, like in some sense.
In some sense, but she provides it on a team buff basis.
Yunjin though, Shenhe though.
Shenhe though, I think we're still quote unquote working on her.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's still some systems within some issues within the system that we haven't worked out yet, and so she's still gonna be kind of scuffed. But in terms of the optimizer perspective, optimizing for Shenhe is really just optimizing for her attack.
Dude, that thing about her off-field, on-field thing though. Not her, the Calamity Queller, right? I think.
Oh yeah, well that's true for all effect that give some sort of bonus for on-field characters. We still don't have a good definition for it, and we still don't have a good way of representing it in the system.
Yeah. Because like originally it was supposed to be like the first character in the team is the on-field character, and then the rest are off-field. But then some people don't use a team for that purpose, and then it's like, and then we keep adding consideration for that. We ended up just grab everything and just go with one definition.
Oh, oops! I think I seem to have angered some Shenhe sims. I mean, come on, Zamo, you don't know anything about Shenhe. It's not like you rolled the guide on her or anything like that. How dare you question my authority?
Okay.
I mean, this should anger a lot of the community simps. All your level ones you're keeping on show here.
Oh yeah. I mean, okay, Mr. Noodle Arms Under Eye is pretty understandable. Kachim, because, not part of Kachim main. I did spend money to get the skin because... Actually, why did I do that? That seems eerily irresponsible for me.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna see a lot of horror. Abyss horror here. Don't worry, that's pretty much
this is before you start like arbitrarily leveling people. I had a lot more people warming this benches up. For the longest time, I had a level 1 Kazuha.
Yeah, I fixed that. I made him your first level 90.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this isn't the Stains account. This is my account. I'm just telegraphically controlling his mind from across the world, which is why we have such high ping.
Yeah, and why this is an issue still?
Level 80 out of 80?
No. Good old C6 Bennett.
Oh.
I could do it. I could do it right now.
You could do it. It's just like half my account's value.
So good.
I think a lot of people just experience a sense of like existential dread as you hover your mouse over that activate button. Oh, what happened to all my Jing artifacts?
We have enough VV
Kachime
left
tested
over.
a few of the. I think they tried to test a lot of the aura effect with the level 1 Katsuha before the Constellation 4. Now it can no longer offer valuable information or theory crafting due to the fact my Kazuha has been leveled up. It's been crippled. Did you level up my Yae Miko as well?
Yeah. She's actually pretty well beat.
Dang. Yeah, it's at this point this account technically is mine, as in I put money for all the welcome moons. Oh shoot, I need to buy welcome moon again, don't I?
Do you really though?
Probably not. The 2x3 nano card is no longer very nano. Another thing, in the build result, they look pretty big right now because we keep condensing the layout. But also, I want to add a way to compare artifacts. So there's probably going to be another element in here that's going to scrunch up the size. I want to be able to show like the stats differential. Kind of like in Genshin, how when you equip a new artifact, it shows like the deltas of the stats. So there might be another element in there to make sure that they stay more coherent sized again. Yeah, they've gotten quite a lot bigger over the development cycle for some reason.
Well, I mean, the on-screen display I've got at the moment, that's zoomed in. So that's not particularly nano at the moment.
Yeah, that too. Oh well, there's always layout stuff that we could fiddle with. It's not honestly worth our time to make it look good on all resolutions. It's too much fiddling.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
Essentially, the UI design is just fiddling to the max, right? If you're gonna be honest.
Okay, yes and no. I mean, in terms of like how to represent information and display all this information in a coherent way, and then make them work in a layout, aesthetic layout, then yeah, this is a ton of fiddling around. You could conceivably waste all your development time on it. But a lot of the optimizer UI design is still constrained by the fact that we're trying to be as opinionated as possible, and we're trying to present information in a way that's hard to be misinterpreted. And that's, I think, ultimately the hardest part of all designing for this.
Very fair.
Sure, buddy, but fix the button being like 1 pixel smaller than the other ones, not like this. Oh. Yeah, some of the... There are two different UI elements which makes them have separate rules, which also makes them having the same height to be very difficult. For anything you add, how much debugging time is required? It's probably like every hour you write a feature, you spend 5 hours debugging it and making sure it works on all the corner cases.
Well, that is generous.
Well, that's generous in the sense that once you release it, people are gonna flood the bug report channel, and then you have to go back for 10 more hours to get it fixed. Because there's always cases where it doesn't work, but eventually get to a point where you can't endlessly test things. You're just gonna have to release it, and with the hope that eventually someone's gonna find the bug for it, and you can fix it in time.
Yeah, there are a couple of times where like we just release it and say we will fix it in post.
Oh no! I mean,
including
okay,
like the core design, the core feature as well.
I don't want to represent us as terrible programmers or bad product designers, but since this is a not-for-profit project and really a community project, we kind of go a bit more lax with quality assurance.
Yeah.
If we actually have a paying client who wants a robust tested project, we'll definitely have to be much more rigorous with testing and debugging and stuff.
Yeah, it's just like a time and quality trade-off. Like, if you pay me more, I could spend more time on that, and those kind of things.
Yeah.
But all I have is like, satisfaction. Mona's page. Back then, like when I joined, we didn't have Mona's page, and I was like, okay, if I help you optimize the entire thing, he's gonna give me the Mona page. And then there was a deal. I signed a deal with the deal.
I mean, it wasn't hard getting you on board. You just have to say, oh, this is an incredibly difficult optimization problem. You're like, difficult? Over-engineered? Sign me up.
That is fair. That is part of it. I was like, I look at the code, I'm like, dude, hold my beer, let me fix it. And then that's the story.
That's the story, but somehow the code become more and more complicated. That was before we used TypeScript as well, so a lot of errors just happen because of the fact that we write code.
Yeah, that was long before TypeScript. And in the end, it's like, dude, if you're gonna write a JavaScript project of this size, we gotta need a type somehow.
Yeah. Type checking was, I think, the biggest involvement of the, I guess, pre-WaveWriter era.
I mean, at least everything seems to be working now. Hope to a large extent, so that's good.
Have you already worked on Kiki or Elan? No, I have not. I haven't even looked at how their kit works. I think someone on the internet has a fork of the optimizer where they're kind of working on Elan.
What is Elan?
Elan is a new character that has a coat duct taped to her back and a mole on her booba. And that's really all you need to know about her.
Oh. I remember now. I see.
Elan is Xingqiu but scale off of HP. I guess they have the same hair. Yeah, but as a rule, we generally don't work with leaks and other stuff, so we don't know how anything works, and we can't confirm nor deny if Elan is a character that exists in some form or not. Allegedly. Do you plan to work on optimization on browsers? I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that.
I mean, there are a lot of aspects that we could try to improve on it, like to make the browser not lag, or to make the building faster, or to make it load faster. There's a lot of aspects to that, which I guess we try to strive for them all, right?
Open DMs again so I can ask dumb questions. I wonder why I closed my DMs in the first place.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Getting to the point where the Bisra is getting towards the point of suffering.
Yep.
I mean, I don't like any of the Abyssal, any of the Abyssal Herald Force, because I think he always gets to the point where you just keep restarting, hoping to get like
The better
getting
run.
to stand next. Yeah, they stand next to each other, so you can like AOE them to death. But since this is the second half, you can't just restart as you will. So you have to try to recover scuff runs.
Well, that's one thing about artificial difficulty. Like, it's not that you need to do it perfectly; it's that you need to do it perfectly in the beginning. Which is
Yeah. I mean, it'll be a lot easier if the heralds were on the first half. Then you can just keep restarting and like move them in the right location before being committing to the run. But since this is chamber 2, you have to like go through chamber 1, and you have to go through chamber 1 well enough to save you enough time for chamber 2.
yeah, you gotta commit. But yeah, speaking of optimization, like, yeah, we try to make everything faster, so it will eventually.
Okay, but we could try to make everything faster in one perspective.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what needs to be done for a lot of the optimizer stuff is that if a number needs to be displayed, it needs to be calculated at least once.
Yeah.
In some form or in some way or another. We can't.
Yeah, yeah, there's a limit to like how fast you can make it go.
There are certain issues right now with the browser, specifically the character page, especially when you have team buffs enabled. For each character card, every character is effectively calculated 4 times. 1 time for the base characters, 3 times for the teammates, and then each card is multiplied by 30 something characters. So there is a visual and noticeable lag when you load up the character page. So I am considering ways in which we could optimize that.
Yeah, well, the problem is still that the on-field character is tied to the team buff option, so it's not like you still need to do the character because you need to see like the off-field thing affect the number of each team member. That is the problem. So like it's like we need to update our structure or like the definition of on-field, off-field, and update the structure of the team to some extent. It's not like okay, we just cache more data and do it. No, because a lot of the data is cached as much as possible. I tried, but any more than data is just gonna hurt the speed rather than help. So yeah.
Yeah. Can we store the stats in local storage? No. I mean, yes, we can, but no, in the sense that it'll be harder to maintain that data.
Yeah, because you still need to validate the same data every time you load the bit for the database. So it's
and then, yeah, every time you make little changes to a character, change a level, change an artifact, change their substat, you literally invalidate the entire chunk of calculation, and then you have to have a management framework to manage whether that data is stale or fresh.
Are you kidding me?
it'll be a lot more complicated than any benefit it gives, unfortunately. I'm glad that I don't have to post this podcast and play Genshin at the same time.
Can you imagine that?
I've considered saving a backup to Google Drive for a while. Could never get the APIs to work. I think I tried on 2 or 3 separate occasions, and it's I don't quite understand why Google make they tried something where they unified all their APIs, which makes it just arbitrarily difficult to only work with the system that you do want, which is Google Drive.
Yeah, that's the thing about API for anything. It's for everyone. You're not the one.
Are you outside right now?
I am. Is it that obvious?
It's incredibly obvious. Are you like waiting in line at like a food place or something?
No, I'm at the roadside.
Oh.
Let me see if I can do something like that. But probably not.
Yeah.
Or I can mute myself, that's for one.
Okay. Yeah. Background noise bleed. We have to. Anyways, yeah, Google Drive. I think it was asked since the beginning. It sounds like it's such an easy concept, but in terms of actually getting it to work, seems to be a bit more difficult than I originally anticipated. Not to say that it will never occur. It will just be. It just there are more important features that we can work with. Currently, we have a stopgap where a user can just download their database and upload it, and it's getting to the point where most of the users are using scanners anyways to refresh the entire account. Does a backup become less and less useful? When I save the data with a user account, well, that requires us to have a backend with a server, and we don't have a backend with a server. Currently, the website is entirely static in the sense that it doesn't interact with the mothership somewhere. So that will, if I follow this analogy through, that we'll need to effectively purchase a mothership and then code ways in which the website interacts with that mothership, which is non-trivial and complicated. Well, it's less about the money of hosting, but more just the development time required to make a full stack website. Oh, suddenly care about GDPR? Does GDPR apply to fundamentally all we don't collect personal data, we just collect Genshin data. But is Genshin data personal data? Yeah, plead ignorance if you get taken to court. Yes. If it's account system, your login data is personal data. Yeah, in that aspect, yes, you can effectively argue that it might. Actually, no, I don't think you have much of an argument. If you take the data, it's personal data because it's personal in the context of the user. Oof. Yeah, that's a lot more complicated than Google Drive. The Google Drive effectively doesn't mean that we have a backup, a backend or server. We're just using Google as a server. But since we're using the space in their private Google Drive as storage, that's not shared with anyone else, and we don't own the data, we get to get away without having to deal with GDPR or having to manage other people's data. We just have to be kind of a middleman for it. So
How I love loopholes.
so yeah, so if we're ever to have a backend implementation, Google Drive is probably one way to go. That's better than. But currently, the system right now is just downloading or backing up your data file. It makes it so that it's harder to transfer your data from one device to the other. And I understand that's it is a limitation, but it's one that well, it's one that we haven't really prioritized. So staying on an arbitrary scale between like 7 to 14, how much suffering are you experiencing?
Oh, give me an interesting scale to work there. But let's just go with 5.5.
5.5 from a scale from 7 to 14.
7 to 14.
Yeah, you're right. It is arbitrary, so it doesn't have your number doesn't have to fall within 7 or 14. 5.5 makes sense, I think.
It's not that bad. It's just bad burst management for the second half.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think this is the one stream in which you have more viewers than ever. I think usually it's just us two.
Yeah, break into the big leagues now.
Yeah. Always joke that you should become a professional streamer, but
there's nothing professional about this stream.
There's nothing professional about this, indeed. At this point, it's not like my account lacks characters.
Just lacks the motivation to build them.
Yeah, well, obviously lacks the motivation to build them, but also have the reliance to not build them. You know, just leave valuable 5 stars as level 1s. So, but in truth, even assuming all the bench warmers are fully leveled up, I don't think any of them could alleviate this suffering.
Probably not, actually.
Maybe if you could like introduce like a fully leveled Mona in here, but that's only really good for. Actually, I don't see it either. We're getting some hot takes in the chat.
Yeah, the hottest of takes.
Ayaka is better than Ganyu for lecture, kind of. It's such a hot take that he's not even fully gonna hold up to himself for it. Yeah, unfortunately my Ayaka is level 1, so in this case Ganyu, a fully leveled Ganyu with Atlas Bow is still better than level 1 Ayaka with a dull blade. Or should we call it a sharp blade? That's one thing we should have kept from April Fools. We should have just kept all dull blades as sharp blades. With good positioning, can use burst with demolish. Well, isn't that the problem with all lector floors with good positioning? These guys never have good positioning. Oh,
Skill issue.
oh, you could just get past the pure skill issue.
Yep.
Yeah, so for a floor like this where there's two lectors, I usually like move to the extreme left of the chamber so they like move together more. Because right now you're only focusing on one of them.
Yeah, that's the idea. But it never seems to work out in my head. Press button, things die.
You've somehow managed to get 5 different button heights. Oh no.
Yeah, that one will trigger Stain for sure.
Yeah.
OCD is the worst nightmare. Just push it, yeah, and just release it. Just ship it. Yeah, you're still trying to get that hover UI thing to work, eh?
The like sticky bar, yeah. I don't know what to do. All these stupid buttons and team infusion. I hate that.
Yeah, I never honestly like the team infusion stuff either. It's just in terms of a purely UX perspective, you want to be able to allow the user to opt out of team buff stuff. That means that you should at least offer them a way to get every feature you can from the team buff itself, without having to use the feature, which is the solution to that team melee infusion stuff to accommodate for the Bennett C6 and Shinjo.
That giving 3 hours of intense discussion.
Yeah, we had hours of discussion on what the behavior will be if you somehow have two separate, if you have both cryo melee infusion and pyro melee infusion, and I still don't. I think our current system was that I think cryo takes precedence or something like that. The issue is with this is like this becomes a fundamental issue with the optimizer being optimizer for a snapshot instance. So in a snapshot instance, you're either doing a pyro attack or a cryo attack or a non-infused attack, and never a combination of the two. Can't those infusion get moved to team buffs page? It's more in the sense that these infusions are supposed to work despite team buff, but it's in terms of design consideration, they're kind of in conflict with team buff. But I guess the understanding that people will use it often enough for it to really matter. So I kind of don't want to sink more development time into determining a arbitrary non-deterministic state that doesn't even make sense in the design consideration of the optimizer. God, I think I'm getting motion sickness just watching you do this floor.
Yep.
Oh, these hydro spinning dudes. Absolute concert. That's one weird part about motion sickness I don't quite understand. I very easily get car sick, but I never get car sick when I drive. But I guess it would be a horrible occurrence if I do get car sick while I drive. But like I get motion sickness when I watch other people play video games. But I don't experience the same motion sickness when I control the character.
That was interesting. Is my ping playing up?
Die Dream Booba animation.
Yep.
It always feels weird when you do like these like weird Raiden bursts, and when she pull up the sword, she like dislocates her neck.
This is a scuffed run as well.
Yeah, they just refuse to stay together.
Yep.
At least the good thing is that these guys are still on floor chamber 1, so you could restart until they line up. But the difficult part is the second half.
Can you guys come over here, please? The first time through I had a really smooth run. They just all stayed together and it was fine.
Oh, good night, mate. Thanks for joining our first official Abyss Suffering Q&A stream. We need a better name for this, don't we?
You probably do.
And from the great mind who come up with the name Genshin Optimizer, we should create an equally uninspiring name. The issue is we could have called it the... I never anticipated this app to get like popular, so I never really tried to come up with an interesting name for it. So unfortunately, it's pretty much taken up the... You should get Andros to name it. He was almost as good. I mean, it wasn't his the Genshin scanner for the longest time. Yeah, there's some guy on Kichime who's trying to make another optimizer. Unfortunately, he's not very creative with names either, so he just calls his like the new Genshin Optimizer or something, which has created, I think, undue amount of confusion.
The suffering is ticking up now.
Mm-hmm.
Problem I'm having is every time I do a charged attack, she's dashing back into the bloody fire attack that they put on the ground, and I'm getting hit with that damage over time.
Yeah, and like, yeah, you can't exactly tank it with the Bennett ult. What if you... Oh, someone's suggesting save Sinchu to phase 2? I guess optimizing hydro application until they get that little medallions on the floor.
Do you think we could, like, I don't know, do A/B testing on this?
Do A/B testing?
Yeah.
Like bucket testing?
Yeah, pretty much. Especially on the UI part. Because if anything, we're pretty much still doing it in the dark.
Okay, well, like, no, testing in what perspective? Like, are we testing performance? Are we testing UI? Are we testing...
Not sure, maybe like, see if like people can go to the build generation quickly, the build page quickly or something. Just throwing it over.
The issue is A/B testing is that you need to create a platform in which is easy enough to access both. But I think for a website, we'll have to deploy, like how we did with Wave Rider, we'll have to deploy another version onto like your GitHub or something, which just makes your version by default inferior, which ruins the control.
I guess that's one of it.
But also, A/B testing is complicated, and it effectively involves you implementing both A and B equally and to completion before you could even start A/B testing, and that's just double development time just to eliminate one version. It seems very inefficient as well. You have a minute left to unga bunga through this.
Yeah, I don't know if that's possible. I might have to quit again and try again.
Oh no, restart the suffering. Well, if we're ever gonna rename this podcast, I think we should at least keep the word suffering here.
Good.
We can't have an interesting discussion without a backdrop of suffering.
It's definitely doable. It's just I was spending way too much time with those pyro lectors.
Yeah.
Need more Hydra application on that first half, but your low level Ayato is not doing it in either side.
Yeah.
Well, look at this poor fellow. Level 4.
Like, do I guess I ran out of all the materials needed.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have 100 something fragile resin, but I don't even think today's Ayato's day.
Probably not. I put him back on the first half.
I guess that's one fundamental issue with my account is the lack of hydro application in cases like this.
Yeah.
Wait, but why would you even need a hydro for the second one? You only need hydro for the first one.
That's what I mean. It's the first side. I was relying solely on Xingqiu for the first side.
Right, but then you wouldn't need Ayato for the second one, would you?
I was using I don't know why I was using him there. Just to freeze, I guess.
just for extra suffering?
Yeah, because I was running Gunyu freeze, so I needed some kind of Hydra application.
Could probably do like a melt on you. Well, no, you. Wait, the lectors themselves don't have hydro?
Well, the issue is Chamber 2, Side 2, when they've got all three guys together. You kind of want to run a Venti team there, but
Wait, yeah, but we're not worried about Chamber 2 anymore, are we?
No.
We're specifically aiming for Chamber 3. If that's the case, we're just building the team for Chamber 3. Then we just need to kind of just unga bunga through it. What was I doing? Right, I was checking for the dates. Oh yeah, Ayato is Tuesday, Friday. Yeah, that's the issue with my account. Not enough hydro applicators. My child and Mona is level 1. So all we have is Xingqiu and they're under-leveled Ayato.
Good old Barbara.
And Barbara, I guess, but scuffed. Is it the issue that you're always trying to shoehorn Kazuha in the first one?
Well, this is the first time I've used Kazuha on the first one. Well,
So
actually not, but... I think it's been working better with Kazuha than without.
I guess I can't think, actually, I can't think of an alternative that would work better. Well, because I want, my first thought was to move Kazuha to the second team. But then we have Venti on the second team, don't we?
Yeah.
So it's redundant to have both. At least now you could take the chamber 2 to have all the ults ready.
Yep.
Hopefully that's
the
enough.
plan. Somehow I still did that before 7 minutes.
When the team is good. I guess the issue with this Abyssal stream is that this is like the only chance you get to do these this challenge, so you can't exactly wait for another day to finish well, to get better Abyss cards.
That's just, you're stuck with whatever you got. Luckily these ones have been pretty good.
Yeah, Abyss cards change, I think, on the daily. So if you're just not getting any good cards on a particular floor, you could leave it for another day.
Oh, now I remember why I ran freeze on this one.
Oh right, yeah. Because the Abyss does kind of save, doesn't it? So what if you run it another day? Not sure. There was once upon a time I wanted to add the Abyss cards as a kind of like a subsystem onto the optimizer, but it seems like it's not going to be very usable. Okay, so no matter what if you just focus hard on what if you just do like Ganyu Rosaria on the second one? Or you dragging
And I
into
need
level
a
1
Hydra application to freeze them. That's the problem. Otherwise, you got this
Oh,
three different types of lectors just destroying you.
yeah, but what if you just use Venti to just drag them in?
It doesn't. They're still doing their attacks. You're still getting energy drained. You're still getting hit by the fire attack. You're still getting hit by the water attack. At least with freeze, they
Yeah.
stop all that. Scuffed one to go.
Wait, focus one at a time? Not sure that will work when you're under. Takes 8 minutes, no problem. No. Huh. Not sure if we're getting trolled or not. Might be fine if you have a Zhongli on the team. Well, if you have a Zhongli on the team, you basically lose a quarter of the synergy just to have a daddy shield. Northern Lion a ghost over. Wait, what's SAP? Oh.
There's no more questions. They all dried up.
I think I've answered all questions in existence. It's not hard if you just give the answer 42 to everything, I guess. Is 10 viewers our max? I guess today it is. Last time we have had a stream, somehow we had like 30-40 people. Maybe we should just have surprise streams instead of like actually scheduled streams. But again, I think on a Saturday, a lot of people have better things to do than to listen to us rant and suffer. But then it's hard to schedule something when it's not on a Saturday due to the time differences. Maybe everyone turned off pings. That could very well be the reason. Because we never really had it. Yeah, we never had a everyone ping issue because we almost never used the everyone ping. So it was just a reminder for everyone else to turn off their ping. I mean, this is kind of a dry run as well. Want to see if I mean, we kind of wanted to keep this as a bi-weekly thing, but since this is the first time we're doing it, we didn't really like advertise it to everyone. We didn't even like publicly show that there's an event happening. We just have a Discord thing. So I think starting next week we could actually like, you know, put in the announcements that we're having a bi-weekly stream thing going on. Could actually get other people to get on here. We could maybe get the Shinshin guy around, even though I think he's in Russia time, which is another problematic time zone to deal with.
Yeah, 240 ping is my normal ping. And being in Australia and playing on the NA servers, I could play on the Asia servers, but even that's going to be like 180, 190 ping, so it's not much different.
He's not in Russia anymore. Where the hell is he? Is he in Japan? Actually, Japanese time might be easy to accommodate for a stream like this. But then again, I'm assuming if he's a developer, he's pretty much an insomniac. I know the GSIM guy lives in the same province as I am, so there should be no problem getting him on board. Except I think he has a wife and kids and stuff, so might be more difficult in that respect. And I think also the GSIM guy is on vacation or on hiatus or something. Either way, well, we'll see what we could do with this format, I guess.
全力攻撃だ。出ました。この件はわかるかい？足元に気をつけて。逃げ道はあります。ここだよ。
Kills me to see an entire Bennett burst pass while Raiden's left at no HP.
ここより弱滅の時、裁きの
Yeah, well, there was not much time to switch to her because that happens. Now is my scuff second half team good enough? Probably not for 45 seconds. Nah, not a hope in hell. I didn't save any ults for bloody coming into chamber 3. Think about it.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what I did last time. Like, sure, I think it was the same Abyss last time, wasn't it?
Is it? What, because you either got super lucky or super scuffed in the right way.
Yeah.
Let me look up my Hoyo lab, see if there's any historical data we could reference. How the heck do you get to this now?
Yeah, I think they just changed it recently. You have to go back to the main Hoyoverse website probably and log in there.
Ugh. They update their format as often as we do nowadays. Freaking tools. Battle Chronicle. I guess they want to emulsify all their offerings together. Okay. Character. Inazuma. Previous Luna phase. Core 12. Right, you did Raiden National. So Raiden Sincho, Xiangling Bennett for the first half. That can't be right. You used Ganyu, Mona, Kazuha, Diona for the latter.
Yeah, that's possible.
Wait, is it the same Abyss? Wait, you still use the level 1 Mona for floor 12? With only Diona shield?
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
I don't remember there being as much suffering as this time around. How did you manage that?
I don't know.
This setup should leave you more time to suffer. Yeah, so I think for the foreseeable future, at least for the context of the stream, we should just restrict the stream to like a role, and then we'll just pin that specific role. I'm not sure how to set that up specifically. We'll probably have to get Carlbot to do it or something. Permissions, stage moderators. Yeah, we'll have to figure something out. And then we'll actually try to like publicize that we're doing a stream instead of just having it as the. I mean, we'll still have the event system go on, I think. And then maybe we'll have more of an agenda next time. Chances are not really. We'll just hopefully we just get more people around to ask more questions. The ultimate question for the ultimate answer to life, the universe, and everything.
I think the passive was just better last time around. I think this passive is something to do with normal attacks. Didn't even read it, actually.
Well, I mean, now we have 2 Hydro dudes for first half. If we don't have enough Hydro application now, we'll never have enough.
Yeah, hopefully. As long as I'm smart enough to remember to keep bursts up for going into floor 3 and to 3.
Well, I think the biggest caveat right now is the fact that you have to keep the Don't Lee shield up. And I think everything plays differently on your account because I think you have like a C2 Don't Lee or something.
Yep.
So you don't really need to explicitly place down the dildo for the shield. But on my account, you kind of have to. And then you have to actually do like the dash cancel for Hu Tao.
Yeah, trying to remember early days of Hu Tao. Keep dash cancelling.
Yeah. And I'm assuming it's much harder to dash cancel when you have like a 250 ping.
Yeah, everything's a little bit harder. Like every time they talk about Dragon Strike and all that, I'm like, what's that? How do I Dragon Strike? How do I Bunny Hop? How do I do all these things?
Wait, you should be easier for you to do Dragon Strike because of the ping, no?
I've never been able to pull it off properly.
Maybe I'm mistaken. But you effectively need to delay the hit lag associated with the charge attack. Well, one day you're gonna move to the land of dreams, and I think you will have better ping then. I mean, not to the NA server, of course, but at least you have better. Are you gonna convert your account to like the Asia server?
You can't. Well, unless they offer an opportunity or a way to do it.
Well, by convert, of course, I mean create a new account and start.
No, I'm not creating a new account.
Yeah, I know Nanjura created the Asia account, even though he's based primarily in the North Americas. So the amount of finagling required to play the game just becomes harder and harder.
Just push the button.
Are you kidding me? That went straight through his head. I need these guys to group up.
Yeah, suffering, suffocate.
They come to me if I do this.
Well, not when they're not spawned in. I think you need to go to the either extreme left or right of the chamber. Or you stay close enough for one to start hitting you, but far enough for the other one to walk over to you.
Yeah.
But there's not much more stuff happening in the Discord in this stream. It's just more like we have a separate channel for question and answer happening in the Discord. I mean, we did the OBS plugin for the no mic channel, but yeah, it's incredibly buggy in the sense that the account names don't show up. I actually kind of want to play around with it. But I guess it wouldn't be. Wait, so is it just like an OBS plugin for
No, it's
for Discord?
OBS. You just insert like a browser element, and that Steam kit just generates a link, which is essentially just a browser window.
Yeah, I see the stimkit.discord.com can't connect to the Discord client. External applications SteamKit overlay wants to access your Discord account. So yeah, you give the permission to read all messages and Okay, so it actually goes through your. So you actually have to have your Discord open. Interesting. And then, oh, so it's just basically configuring a widget with a browser source. Oh, that's kind of cringe. Display invite link, server icon. Oh, you can configure it. I see. And then with the chat widget, it's still the same thing, just have a browser source. Oh, so that's how this works. But the issue is that any new messages when they put in, it doesn't show the user's name. Actually, they have a preview of the chat widget on the website. I wonder if that has the same issue. He has the same issue on the widget website. Oh, that's cringe. Who programmed this shite? Oh, that's hilarious. It covers over the color, but oh man. Wait, let's see. So you have the overlay here, which is just a URL. So icon true, online true. You can't really change much of the. You can change the color outline and stuff. Background opacity, but you can't do anything with how. Invite code, hide names false.
Okay. What are we doing?
I got into it. You apply to work at Discord. You're gonna leave your prestigious job at Epic Games to work at Discord.
Which one is Epic Games?
I don't know. I still don't. Okay, Epic Games might be a relatively prestigious company to work for, but they don't make good platforms or games or game stores.
Yeah, actually, I think I might prefer to work at Epic Systems than Epic Games.
Oh, did you just DOS yourself?
I mean, you've already been saying it, so.
I just said Epic Games, okay? I didn't say anything about your actual employer.
Oh well, it's not hard to dock.
I'm sure most people know where I'm sure a lot of people can find some hot gossip about me just by using my username. He then breathed a sigh of relief and submitted his 2 weeks notice. Can you imagine getting hired, working at a tech company just to fix a bug you see in the software, and then quitting immediately after? Yeah, at least working with Go kind of helped you with I think fundamentally wait, what's their hiring requirements? Oh yeah, they had that game studio thing for once upon a time, but then they kind of gave up on it. Didn't they try to incorporate some sort of game story into their Discord client?
天道ここにあり岩山八九カリウルコこの件は分かる難攻不落総流水泳安らかに歌よ錦となれ好きあり好きあり
Huh, that's too bad. I think there should be more competition against Steam in terms of game stores. I just don't fundamentally agree with how the Epic Store does things. I think the Discord store might have been a good idea. There's an option to turn off. There's a show names option in this Discord chat embed thing, but I'm not sure what it does.
Oh, it's just for the talking heads, so you only see the profile picture, not the names.
What? Yeah, but that's this is for the chat API, right? The chat widget.
Oh,
It
the
says,
chat one.
there's a yeah, the chat one has a hide name that's set to false, but when I set it to true, it doesn't seem to actually hide anyone's name. Fairly recently, maybe a few years ago, has it been? Dang.
もう止められない万物を滅ぼせ許さないオランの名前おさわり禁止万物を滅ぼせ
Feel like I'm missing something fundamental here.
How did this work the last time, and then why does this suffer you so much for this time?
Yeah.
岩山八九神悟り水遊形はサイウルコこの件はわかるかいサイ天道万象難攻不落歌よ錦となれ雨描きがたしこの件はわかるかい新天道地はっすきありいやはったはっ剣女盤石安らかに雨描きがたしカリウルコはっふんはっふんはっふんすきあり甘いふんはっすきありせやふんアビスに使えよ飲みすぎだよ眠れない諦めてこの仕事は排除するべき大丈夫ですそうか捕まえたんよ一緒に遊ぼうよアビスの潮なり
There is actually an OBS plugin for Discord overlay.
真羅万象の頂点
風雪の祝福逃げようなんて思わないでよね許さないパーフェクト
Oh, but you have to use a chroma key filter. Oh, that just seems like a nasty hack to get a Discord overlay to work. At least it's open source.
足元に気をつけて
Unlike this Steam kit.
お下がり禁止リオナが勝って震えなさい諦めてこの仕事は排除するべきですね
Oh, there we go. For whatever reason, it just lined up that time. As is Abyss.
Says Abyss. You either do it the right way or you just keep hitting your head against the brick wall and eventually you lose consciousness.
Yep. What was the buff this time? Maybe I should read that. Blessing. After a normal attack hits opponents, damage dealt with a normal attack increased by 12% for 5 seconds, can stack 5 times. Right, so it was a normal attack buff that I wasn't using at all.
Maybe that would have made your life easier, but how is the suffering if you don't handicap yourself by not reading?
That's right. It's reading anyway.
Handicap yourself by not reading seems to be a main theme in the Optimizer Discord.
I'm just trying to understand the users better.
Well, me too. I mean, for the longest time, the Optimizer has ceased to be a project that's something that I use, that I share. Now it's becoming more of a community project, which is kind of the difficulty was trying to understand how the community thinks. Need more pineapple slices.
Oh, I accidentally picked up one in the open world. You just walk past something that's shining, it's like, oh, what's that?
Get it.
You know, I think you're doing it pretty well, figuring out what the community thinks.
Yeah. Well, that's more like when people put in something in the feature request, it's less about just giving it to them, more about having to figure out what like fundamentally they want, and if we could provide it to them in a way that benefits our system, that doesn't provide doesn't mislead them into a different conclusion than the information that it's presented, which I guess is the difficult part.
Yeah, the rule of thumb is that users are good at reporting problems, but not creating solutions.
Yeah, but I mean, it's less about trying to get the user to help us create a solution, more in the sense that getting them to explain why they want something instead of just them wanting something, so we could design a solution around their needs instead of just it's kind of like it's an ongoing battle with the optimizer design, I think.
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing I've heard too, is that like users are good at knowing what's wrong, but not what they want, really.
Yeah.
I mean, not knowing what they want is one thing, but they also think that they want this kind of thing when most likely they're actually not. And then they really insist on like it gotta be this solution is gotta be the solution.
Yeah, it's when they specifically demand a solution, that becomes a problem. Then it becomes harder to get them to reveal which part of that solution they want, and how we could come to agreement on how to improve the existing system. Especially when people just outright demand a previous feature that's no longer able to support, either due to architectural or due to system changes, and then they're just basically providing an ultimatum: either give us an old thing or I'm just gonna keep complaining about it, which isn't very productive at all.
I mean, one example is like the next few. like most of the time they don't actually want max filter. They just like, yeah, I'm using that in place of like the combo optimizer or something.
Right, or like they want to have like a better way to exclude artifacts. But fundamentally, I think the issue is that the exclusion filter is supposed to be a global disable that they're using for specific character. So the solution there isn't to allow them to exclude any artifact from specific UI, but rather introduce a new system like the one we've been discussing with the priority list, where there's a priority list of characters you could take artifacts from, which is I think a better solution. Then they don't have to manage a global exclusion state across several different characters. You just basically define a list of characters that in a list, and it will just automatically take from the characters below the list. So like solutions like that, where user kind of just are either using a workaround or I guess almost misusing an existing feature due to the lack of a better solution, that we really want to, instead of implementing what they want, we have to kind of figure out what they need and design a feature around that. That's kind of like the hardest part about the optimizer, I think.
Mm.
And
Rolling artifacts is shit.
wasn't the first step to fixing something is to interrogate the user who requested. I mean, kind of, yes. I don't want to use the word interrogate, but it actually totally
Well,
is.
that's more or less what it is.
Yeah. I guess it really all stemmed from like when we first started Optimizer. We have a bunch of like principles that we kind of abide by, and one of them is to not tell people how to play the game, and I think that's another one of the biggest hurdles we have to overcome for the Optimizer. We have to provide all features as unopinionated as possible and present calculation and data in a way where we empower the user to understand the data without explicitly telling them that this is the right way for them to do something.
Yeah, for a while, like we default the optimization target to attack, total attack, right? Because we thought like, okay, nobody would actually like be actually optimizing for attack. Like they should be smarter about that. But it ends up like many people just ignore it and just press optimize, and then wonder what the heck is going on.
Well, that's the issue. Is like if the big optimize button is clickable, people will click on it first before realizing what they're doing.
Yeah, and then we just like switch it to optimization target to default to nothing, and you just gotta choose it. Now we see more people asking for it, which is, I guess it is good sign.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's always, I think, as long as the optimizer exists, there will be people who ask other people about what they should use after the optimization target, and I think that's a understanding, or at least that's going to be the natural way of life for the foreseeable future. There's no way that we will be able to provide an opinionated guide to tell people on for a specific character what they should be optimizing for. It really depends on what the end user wants, and we'll try to be as flexible as possible about that.
I mean, can you imagine how difficult that is? Like figuring out the mechanics of his character and figuring out the best way to build them. Which in the end, it's just like you just need pretty much what other theory casters are already doing. So you might as well just look there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the issue with what we're currently going with, the non-opinionated way is that people have to understand how the optimizer works, and then they have to read someone else's opinionated guide on how that character works before they could get an optimized result. So people tend to default to the easier way, which is say, so for this character on the optimizer, what target I should set, and then that's both okay and not okay. I think that kind of differs to people who answer the question to provide them an even rounded a solution instead of just telling them which target to use. Tell them why they should use that target.
I think that is still like better than having a static website telling you what to do. Like at least it's more interactive. You can stick if you need it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, since the beginning of this project, I never wanted to create something that tells people how to play their game, or how they should optimize their character. But with that flexibility comes more headaches. But I guess, you know, that's just me reaping the result of my own hubris.
Also, like the other thing is about the accuracy, because like there's a reason we never actually do the heuristic in this build. And just like if we say it is maximum, it is gonna be maximum possible for this metric. Because like a lot of people say, yeah, why don't we just speed things up and just do something that is like 90%, 99% of the time is there, but it's like a lot faster. Which is
well, okay. If we use like a greedy algorithm from the beginning, we wouldn't have to spend so much of our time designing WaveWriter or do any of these crazy stuff or like threading the calculation stuff. But then, you know, we wouldn't even be able to guarantee that off the specific configuration the user has set, this is the de facto best. A lot of work has gone into making sure that if the optimizer outputs a result, it will be the best result in the configuration the user set.
not just greedy, like even the heuristic one. It's a lot more caveat into the process in something that people don't even read that they are optimizing for attack when you think about it.
Well, we can't. I mean, we could always take the opinion that that some people won't read, but I think we ultimately need to find ways to design around that. Like yeah, in that example, we don't set a default target, so the user is gonna be forced to select one, which gets them to think about, yeah, which target do I want to optimize for, which leads them into this line of thinking. I think that's good UX design. Yeah, I think at the very beginning, this is before you joined, I did consider a variation of a greedy algorithm, but that was I wrote it, but I never actually uploaded because I didn't think it was right. And then we just basically started with brute force and just tried to optimize around that, always being able to provide the best result.
And in the end, we get some sort of brute on steroid.
Yeah. If anything, I think the current solution is pretty crazy. There's other variation of greedy you could do that's not purely greedy, like branch and prune and something that could come up with that could get to maybe like.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's go on.
No, like the thing about heuristic is like you should be able to know at least about how it compares to the actual optimal. Because like okay, let's say it is fast, but if you don't know how it compares, like okay, so what? It's gonna be like 1% optimal and not use this greedy algorithm.
I think your audio is cutting off quite a bit. At least for me, you are. I'm having trouble understanding exactly what you mean. I'm kind of just reading between the gaps.
Sorry, can you hear me now? I was using building Wi-Fi from outside the building, so that's why.
Oh, great. Are you at school right now at like Saturday?
Yes, on Saturday after final, I'm in school for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Talking about heuristics.
yeah, like the thing about heuristic or anything that gives you inaccurate result, like you need to be able to say how close it to the actual optimal result, because like maybe it is twice as fast and it's always within like 90% of the result, then that's good, right? But if you say, okay, yeah, it is fast, but I don't know how it compares. Like it could be 1% compared to the optimal result. It could be like 50%. If we don't know that, heuristic is just pretty much as good as like a lucky guess or like an educated guessing.
Well, okay, so this goes into, I guess, the accuracy bounds of a specific heuristic. If you could guarantee that your result is always within the top 10%, then you might be good enough to present as a consistent heuristic. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much that. That's why I was like, okay, you can give me a fast algorithm, but is it a good fast algorithm or it's just fast, right?
Yeah.
Am I a student? Like, yes, I am.
What do you mean? You guess you are? You are a student.
Well, yeah, I am. But
You're still within the boundaries of the academic institution.
we call the student of life.
Student of life. The student of the optimizer. Return 0 is a fast algorithm.
Yeah, pretty
And
much that.
and it's deterministic as well. And it has a fixed error bound.
Fast, deterministic,
Wait.
fixed bound. Damn. Why have I been all
Why
this
didn't
life?
we think of that? Let's choose 5 random artifacts return. Now that's a bad heuristic, because then you can't consistently say how bad it is. You could
Well, that's what was happening when people were optimizing for just flat attack.
not necessarily. I mean, if you're optimizing for a flat attack, it's still a positively correlated to a specific damage result. Whereas if you just choose artifact randomly, there was a Crimson Witch circlet that you didn't unlock.
Yeah, because I'm just about to roll it now to see if it gets crit.
Oh. Cope.
Nope. That's why I didn't lock it.
Oh. The Discord, the Twitch stream has like a few seconds of delay. So
Yeah.
I didn't see whether it rolled or not, but you said nope right away. So I was like, oh, I guess in this future, this doesn't happen.
Well, that was just
Yeah,
as good.
you've done an amazing job with maintaining my account, though. I think like when you first when I first become too busy to maintain my account, and I gave it to you at like 1,500 artifacts.
Yeah, you couldn't farm any more artifacts. The only thing you were doing, you couldn't do anymore.
Yeah, the only thing I was doing, which is mainly farming, I was only doing like the which domain was it? The one that's
the emblem domain.
Oh, yeah, I think I was just farming the emblem domain till the end of days until I got to 1,500. I was like, I'm too lazy to roll this. Here's some dopamine for you. Here's the endless amount of mora for you to do that with.
I think I've gone
Actually,
through more than half of your Mora now.
Oh yeah? How much more do I have now?
8.4 million.
Oh yeah, that's a lot more than half. I think when I give it to you, it's like over 20 million or something.
I think it was like 24, 25. Yeah.
Damn. This means that one of these days you're gonna have to do some ley lines.
Well, mate, I did build your Kazuha to full, and I built your Klee that you gave up on halfway through. I built your Zhao that you gave up on halfway through.
It's true.
And
you
then
don't use any of these characters in Abyss.
No. I mean, they're not that great
That's
in Abyss. I guess Xiao could be.
Xiao could potentially be. Oh yeah, you built a Yay.
I kind of want to continue building Ayato because I don't like leaving
good night.
characters, midway through being built.
Oh, but, come on, he's level 69. Like that's complete already. Oh yeah, and he has the green sword of death. Stini.
I make any of these samurai thing. No, I can't. You've got none. Can I cheat?
What, like buy it from the shop?
Oh.
Feels
Actually,
like
I think I've already bought them this month, and you still don't have any.
Bloody hell! I guess there's no other way to use this currency, eh?
Well, other than buying the few Primo gems every reset.
Yeah. Oh, you mean like the fates?
Oh yeah, sorry, the fates. Yeah.
I mean, you could probably buy the more off it at this point, right? Like the 10 currency per Mora.
But you've still got 8-point-something million. Do you really need it?
Well, probably not.
What does it give? 300,000. It's barely a drop in the ocean. That was maximum. I suppose I could buy these ones now. There we go. 2,000 currency worth of Mora.
I'm sure. Oh, damn. I don't think the 20 is worth it.
No. Oh, we could roll for a C1 Ayaka.
Ugh. I don't know.
C1
I'm not
level 1.
I'm not convinced Ayaka C1 is good. Oh. Ultimate Nub, you completely missed the Abyss suffering. We just finished it.
There was plenty of suffering. Probably for the viewers as well, watching me fail at it.
Did we claim the Primal Gem? I remember there was one time in which you did my Abyss, and you just didn't claim the Primal Gem, and I assume you did, and it was just Primal Gem gone to the wind.
Yep. I was leaving that dopamine hit for you, and you just forgot about it.
I thought you would claim the dopamine. That's the whole reason why I gave you my account. Here's an account with almost infinite resources and like untapped potential. Here, have all the dopamine you want.
And I just took the suffering and left the dopamine for you.
Ugh.
You know what I was doing because I was struggling to use all your resin? I started crafting the crystals with resin. The ultimate no-no.
Oh no.
And then you ran out of, what was it, crystal flies you need? Oh no, the blue crystals that you harvest. I ran out of them, so I couldn't do it anymore.
Dang. Yeah, I never actually like farm for the crystals. I just do like the dispatches, the expeditions.
Oh yeah.
I think I still have like a... Well, no, you probably have been crafting them, eh?
Yeah, the ones you do have, I've been crafting as required. I think you got plenty at the moment, though. Weapons. Oh, yeah. 2,000 of them. It's enough to level up a weapon, I think. If we ever get another good weapon.
If we get another good weapon. So far now, the weapon banner has been wowing me.
I really wanted to roll on Miss Splitter, but I really don't want another Unforged.
Well, I currently don't have an Unforged, but what the hell would I even use Unforged for?
Well, I think
By the way-
Unforged would actually be better on Eula than this Snow Tomb Star Silver thing. As long as you're in Eula with
Really?
a shielder. It's pretty comparable to Wolf's Gravestone if you have a shield.
Ah.
And Miss Splitter, I guess you could run it on Kazuha, change him to a DPS Kazuha. You don't really need to run it on Ayato because we've got Jade Cutter on him.
Yeah.
Put it on Xingqiu, make a main DPS Xingqiu.
Yeah, because I don't have enough main DPS characters already.
Yeah. Put it on Traveler.
Well, you don't have enough Hydro character to begin with.
I have enough Hydro characters, I think. I just don't build them. I have Child. I have Wait, there's another Hydro character I'm neglecting. Oh
Barbara.
right, Mona.
Oh, Mona.
Barbara doesn't even make a list.
I guess I never rolled for Kokomi. That would be another one.
By the way, it ended up being like the artifact set exclude. Would you add it into the website?
Oh, artifact set exclusion.
Yeah.
Probably in the builder. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I have to find a way for the UI to make sense first.
Yeah. That's what I
po-
thought as well. But anyway, that's not my problem. So yeah, I'll probably go back and figure out how to.
Yeah, so
Then-
for now, just assume there is going to be an array of artifact sets that will be excluded, or that can be excluded. I'm not sure about having a separate set of allowable set. Well, because if you have a set of allowable, that what would that mean? It will mean that when the builder generates a build, it has to be 4 sets. Or if it is a 4 set, it has to be within a subset of those allowables.
Well, what I'm thinking is that okay, we have the minimum number of artifacts set and maximum number of artifacts set, and every build is just gonna have the number within that range.
Well,
that's what I'm
I
thinking.
think fundamentally we can't cripple the build. Like we can't make it so that the builder can only generate a build with like 4 sets, because that. Well, I think the good thing about the builder is that it is able to find combination of rainbows that provide better results. So, but then it makes it harder. Yeah, I'm not gonna be 100% sure on how you could make a set exclusion criteria. I guess it will. You can't use it as a pruning heuristic. Can you?
No, this thing is probably gonna be before we enter the pruning phase, because like I can just generate the list of artifacts like inside the batch itself. So
Well, okay,
it's also
but
like it is before the pruning, so you don't need to worry about any of that.
well, okay, but no, you can't, because you could still, like, if you exclude the 4 set, but that doesn't mean that you can't use artifacts from that set.
Yeah. It's the same as setting a minimum artifact. Like it doesn't mean you have to have exactly two glad or something, right? You can still have 3. So like in those kind of things, it still would work properly. Like
Yeah.
like if you say like you don't want 4 shim or more, then 3 or 2 is fine. That's the same kind of deal.
Mhm.
Like the algorithm is the same when we do the splitting permutation, artifact permutation. That is why I'm quite frustrated with when I try to implement it, because like it's supposed to be very straightforward extension to our previous algorithm, but it is just like the previous code is still so convoluted that I need to rewrite everything from scratch in that area, unfortunately.
I think that has become part of the optimizer design philosophy. Is like we don't update stale code, we just rewrite it.
That's unfortunate.
It happens because our design considerations are constantly evolving to the point where some of the previous assumptions might or might not be applicable.
Yeah.
Oh no. I heard the chuckle. The stream is going. Oh, I see it. Why have you done this? Why have you done this?
Why have I forsaken you?
What? Why?
Look. We'll call it even, okay? I'll go to the
What
character
happened?
that you made a mistake on, and I'll put the weapon that I made a mistake on.
Oh my god. What a shit show. What a shit show. Oh my goodness. That was a 50-50 loss banner.
Yep.
Even if I get a miss splitter, I still wouldn't be able, like, who the hell would I even fucking use it on? There's no reason to roll on that banner.
Yeah, you didn't get much out of that one, apart from an R5 Favonia sword that you haven't leveled yet.
Yeah, but who would even put Five Sword on?
Kazuha
You?
actually works really well with it.
Wait, Favnus Sword? Oh no, I'm thinking about Favnus Greatsword. Hmm. Crit hit generate. Yeah, I can see it.
You just burst constantly.
Yeah. And you have pretty high crit. Makes sense. Well, that's enough rolling dopamine for now, I think.
Yeah, I think that got that out of my system. I don't need to do it on my account. Or do I?
Sunless is such a good game. Okay.
何か忘れているような。まあいいでしょう。また思い出したら誰かに届けてもらう。
I think that might be it.
Yeah, I think that's all the content we could squeeze out of this one Genshin stream.
Unless
we have
there's
been here
something we
for
want to do
2
with
hours.
unless there's something
Sorry,
we
what
want
was
to
that?
do with the actual website, showing off more of the website for use cases.
Oh, I
I feel
have
like we should
mail.
have done that before.
Yeah, maybe.
A bit stream.
Oh yeah.
That can be for next week now, or next
Yeah,
2
we could
weeks.
save that when we put a few more UI changes in and confuse more people.
I think the bulk of the big UI changes have already been put in. Moving the build page inside the character UI is probably like the biggest thing.
And next week we're gonna do the overhaul. Stay
So
tuned.
at least for the foreseeable future, the only thing I could see Well, yeah, I don't really see. I don't. I don't foresee us changing this layout too much. Yeah, added that swap weapon button.
Yeah,
Now that should be easier to deal with.
Even though it's a little bit redundant that it's in the edit area as well, it's still good to have on the main screen.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess it saves a click with
I think the biggest issue at the moment is the hit mode toggles, especially if you're building 10 builds.
You have to go all the way up?
Let's build a character that's faster. Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I think a lot of people still build more than one, and so... That crashed? There it is. So if you're down here and you're, oh, I like this build, but I wonder how it compares to my current one. Not only is there no compare button here now, you have to go back up to the compare. You then have to go even higher to change the hit mode toggles to see how it compares on crit and non-crit damage.
Yeah, I can see why that could be a bit annoying. So yeah, I think overall there is it is yeah. The sticky menu thing idea might be a solution to this.
Instead of having maybe the sticky menu, I don't know how Van has been doing it at the moment, but instead of having the sticky menu at the top of the page all the time, could you have it that once you scroll down past the UI element that says showing X builds generated, can the sticky element appear there and then stay at the top of the screen?
That's how I had it in the video I showed, I think, too.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be probably quite handy. Because it wouldn't take up a lot of real estate when you're just looking at the build previews, but you wouldn't want it there clogging up the screen when you're changing build options for people with smaller resolutions and such.
That's always going to be the issue. Smaller resolution. What's gonna happen when? What's gonna happen on smaller resolution? Because element like that, once it's scrunched onto a smaller width, pretty much takes up half the screen. So if it's sticky as well, then it literally just halves your screen real estate.
Yeah.
And
Other thing I was thinking is the tooltips. The tooltips are a good middle ground for remembering what the icons mean, but can tooltips show on mobile? Is there a way to hover on mobile to show the tooltip?
Yes, if you long press, it should work.
Okay.
If you long press it, it works, yeah. So yeah, mobiles are lacking utility in that sense.
Definitely, we can do a lot of things, right? If we differentiate between the mobile and desktop, but
well, the design philosophy currently is basically make one page and make it flow seamlessly between mobile and desktop instead of creating a separate page for mobile and desktop. I mean, both design philosophy have their own caveats for sure.
But it's pretty hard to do. Like a lot of the major websites don't even bother with that. They have a separate mobile version you switch between.
Yeah. Well, that's when they have a dedicated mobile team dedicated for it. They just use the word dedicated like 3 times in a row.
It's time to hire a dedicated mobile dev.
Hire with whose money?
With MiHoYo's Primo Gems. Like,
I mean, yeah, but like, if we get a separate developer, I still don't think it's a good use of their time to create dedicated mobile UI. I'd much rather them work on more like rewarding features.
I wonder what the percentage of users are that play on PC but use the optimizer on phone.
Quite a bit. There are also a lot of people who play on console and have to use it on their phone because they don't own a PC.
Mm.
It's we try to make the layouts usable on mobile, but like it's kind of an endless battle. So I guess for the foreseeable future, that the layout's not going to change too much. We might create some things that help with the UX flow, but the general
we're
UX
getting
flow
close to Hero Critic. Sorry.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I guess we could start focusing on features instead of UI reworks. There's still gonna be some UI reworks. Like we need to take a hard look at how like our color scheming and how some of the contrasts work on the website, which is something I've been both putting off and dreading. We probably need to revamp this settings page for the database upload. We did a database merging update code refactor a while ago, but we haven't updated the UI to fit.
Not that it's going to be a majorly requested feature, but for the people that have a really old database now, is there a way to put in the old conversion code just in the settings page? Like, upload your database and, like, hang on, you've got an old one. Would you like to fix this? Or is that essentially what you were doing in the background anyway?
I think those ones are unrecoverable.
Oh, really?
If it's too old, it's probably unrecoverable.
Yeah,
but otherwise,
we could definitely write code to upgrade them in some way, but I think it will cause more problem than it will solve. Like those old character formats, once they transfer to the new format, they might present other scenarios in which it will bug up the system. I mean, we actually no, it should be fine because we run all the data through the validator anyways.
Well, as I said, technically it's still running, but we gotta phase it out eventually.
Yeah. Well, I think the minimum support thing is to make it so that the website don't crash when we hit a really, really, really astronomically old database.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old white screen.
Yeah, the good old white screen of death.
I don't know if anyone looked into it, but I saw a bug report a while ago that the resin counter isn't counting accurately anymore.
I think I saw it too. What happened? I wonder.
I mean, the time delta stuff hasn't changed at all. No matter what, every resin count, unless we somehow synchronize it to their specific timer, which is a bit too more complicated than it has to be, you'll always be up to a minute behind or
it was
ahead.
Actually, I think it was too fast, so it would be counting much faster than the game time. So it was not like a minute or so out; it was hours out. Yeah. Something was happening in the background, causing it to count up, I think.
That is interesting.
It could be introducing extra hooks in the background. Actually, why would that be the case?
I don't use it, so I can't really tell. Main reason I stopped using it was it was sort of resource heavy. Like if you had this tab open while it was counting, it would actually lag the game.
But wait, what?
Yeah, you had to minimize or close the tab, or just change pages because just the resource of it counting was enough to cause the game to lag for me anyway.
Dude, did you count nanosecond?
It's like you update the website every nanosecond. He does a re-rendering of the website every nanosecond. Holy crap! I mean, I would say that this is one of the older pages. So it could I don't want to say that there's no way that's happening, because there is a arbitrarily small chance that could be happening.
I mean, just changing the React version already costs them kind of things. So I wouldn't put it past them.
I wonder how many
Actually,
people actually use this page still, like as for experience counters and the server reset time and such.
Do you have a statistic on that?
Like, is it a page that can just be deleted? Because a lot of the users of Go would also be using things like Sealy, and Sealy has a resin counter baked in because it's more suited to its use case, and of course it has an experience counter baked in because it's part of its use case. So if you're already using Sealy, why would you use this?
No, it makes sense. I had other plans for this page to be somewhat more integrated with the planner, but then MiHoYo introduced their own planner, and there are other websites that offer a better, more fully rounded experience. So there was no reason for me to reinvent the proverbial wheel.
Fancy.
It might just be a case that we either just maintain this page to work minimally and we don't add on to it. We just kind of keep it as is for now. I don't really...
spitballing idea here. For people that might want to still use the resin counter on Go, for whatever reason, because they're used to it, what about a floating element that people could enable in the settings if they wanted to, which would take up some of the blank, the white space, quote unquote.
So you just be like a hovering counter.
Just a hovering counter there. So as they're using Go, they can see their resin, and if they don't like it hovering there, like if mobile it's too intrusive, they just go back to settings and turn it off. And I don't want that.
Yeah. Well, that could be another interesting thing to do with it.
Because if I zoom back out to 100% zoom for my monitor, like I've got heaps of blank space on the left and the right, that if there was just a floating resin counter in the bottom left that always just stayed in the bottom left as I scrolled, that might actually be useful. So you can keep an eye on your resin as you're optimizing and fiddling with your characters.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a good way to have it, I think.
Because the tools page does seem really redundant at this point.
Well, it is a very, very old page. I think some of these elements were using like the old class-based React elements instead of like functional-based, hook-based. Yeah, but this was back when like early. Oh shoot! Is it early 2021? It's some of these are quite legacy.
I haven't actually looked into MiHoYo's API at the moment, but I wonder if you can actually pick out a user's server time and resin status from the API now.
You probably could, but the infrastructure to access that information is probably not accessible to the optimizer in the form factor that it is now.
And you'd have to have people to log in, and maybe some wouldn't want to do that, wouldn't want to put their MiHoYo or Hoyoverse account details in.
Yeah, even just adding their UID might be a bit too intrusive. But even if we do it through UID, you still need a backend to access all of this information. That ultimately, I'm sure other users who does interact with the MiHoYo API could offer this feature at a cheaper price than we can in terms of development time. So it doesn't make sense for us to do it like this. You're just trying to. Oh yeah, I see it. That little.
Little flicker. It doesn't seem to be anything to do with tooltips, because even if you're not activating a tooltip, it still does it. I don't know what that is. Like, it could be my machine somehow. It could be something I've got installed, but I don't recall doing anything different between the old UI and this update.
Yeah, I'm honestly not 100% sure either. And since I can't replicate it, I'm not sure how we're.
Did someone monitor the chat? Is someone monitoring the chat? I'm asking. Because I'm not looking.
Oh, it's just Nubs asking question. How much time a day does the average person spend on Optimizer? Not sure actually. We don't track it that. We don't keep track of those metrics. I don't think.
I spend more time on Optimizer than I do on Genshin, but I don't think I'm average in that case.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier, like Optimizer is almost Genshin's endgame to a lot of us, where we sit in the Optimizer website and change our characters and try new things.
Or endlessly twiddle with the design.
Yeah.
Why do you need a floating resin count? Better to add notification for when cap or close to cap. It could be. I don't like the idea of the optimizer sending notifications to the user.
The Sealy's website already has a notification system on their resin counter. Like you just get a little red dot on the, I think the planner page tells you you're close to cap.
Yeah. So if they already does something like that, I kind of don't want to spend too much dev time if it doesn't really interest me to just create a feature that someone else already have. Because it doesn't really synergize with any of our existing system, which is just the whole builder UX core.
Yeah, there's no notification system in the site at all at the moment, is there?
Yeah. And why would there be?
Good question.
That's I honestly think, we would just have to like sorry, instead of devoting our time to the kind of somewhat neglected tools page, I think we just devote our dev time to just empowering a current feature set, the main feature set, which is empowering the builder.
Yeah.
So
what's the one in the plan right now?
Priority queue is number 1. I think another one is the one you're working on, which is to say offer a build option to for end user to just build I guess exclude all builds that are inferior than current equipped build.
Yeah, I tried that. It ends up not being as good performance-wise.
Really?
When we try on the...
You promised a 10-fold...
I was expecting a 100-fold. 100-fold. I want to click the button and the best build appear instantly.
No,
anything less is unacceptable.
To appear before you click the button.
I want Optimizer to farm the artifacts for me.
Did you guys see Toothless Wolf? I think his feature is coming along quite well as well. I mean, I think his feature will most likely be delegated towards the TC mode, but it still look quite impressive.
At some point, we're probably gonna add like a priority mode or something, or a lot of priority related stuff.
For what?
Something I don't know. I mean, we already add.
I mean, we're planning to add a priority queue for, what is it? Use equip artifacts. So that
No,
UI
not
has to be
priority.
fiddled.
The probability.
Probability stuff. All probability stuff is gonna defer to TC mode. It's non-deterministic. It's non-tangible.
Yeah. And of course, like it does give us a lot of leeway in terms of accuracy.
Yeah.
And the
And
downside is that it's not something you can see or touch. And usually you have one shot anyway. It's like it doesn't matter if you have like 20% chance of rolling the best one. You just have a single artifact on that, a single chance on that artifact.
Yeah, but I'm not. I think the difficult thing about a feature like that is to actually design the UI to not mislead people. Like design the UI so the end user understand what this number means.
Yeah, that's the usually hard part.
Another thing we're gonna do is probably remove the ability to force the 2 set and then allow people to exclude a specific 4 set. And then maybe like have them maybe have a subset of limitations on which 4 sets they can use. Because ultimately, I think the biggest thing the user should have in terms of control is whether they want or don't want a specific 4 set effect. Whereas the builder is best dealt with 2 sets. And we should empower users to, we should design the UI around allowing the user to take advantage of the fact that the builder can very much provide optimal results using the existing 2 sets. That the end user doesn't have to explicitly say I want a gladiator 2 set or I want the whichever 2 set. So the UI around here might change a bit. In terms of build constraints, we should be able to set as you said before, set a specific build constraint against the optimization target. Not sure if we could probably hide that initially behind TC mode because you could only really use that optimization target build constraint with the TC graph.
One thing, if you're deciding to remove the Force 2-piece, because I do agree that if 2-piece Lava Walker happens to be the best option for a particular character, even though you're not going to be standing in fire, it doesn't really matter because it's not a negative. It's still a positive because those artifacts happen to be the best. But
that's what we thought about 4 set as well until that Shim 4 came along.
Yeah, Shimenawa can mess with that. Even if you turn off the passive, it could still be the best.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about.
But if you remove forcing 2-piece, could you add forcing to the prevention of rainbow builds? So it'll only give you 2-piece or a 2+2 or a 4-piece. It won't give you a 2+3 or a 5 rainbow.
I'm not sure. It's like if you're not forcing anything, what would the piece benefit you?
OCD.
Well, that's OCD.
I hate equipping a rainbow build, regardless if it's better.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Psychology, but yeah, you're totally not the only one. We have seen that a few times, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's kind of cope. I think in terms of heuristic, let's see. So basically, we have branching set algorithm that determines or that generates the sets, but then we have to validate whether that set passes specific set constraint. Or you're saying this could be done before? That would be the way to go, because there's no way we could do this processing before pruning.
No, this whole process is before pruning. Like we determine that, okay, if we want glad to, we're gonna do glad, anything, or glad, anything, anything. Something like that.
So we actually define the templates for sets before pruning?
Yeah, that's what you did, because that dictates how you're gonna do it, how you're gonna split the batch.
Okay, so then that means that this is actually not too difficult if it's before pruning.
Yeah, this is not a hot cat. Like we have a lot of leeway in terms of like artifact set constraint.
Okay. Yeah, then that's fine. Well, so these features they're all associated with the builder, but I think that these are probably the most important features. Another thing that's been bugging me is the TC graph. It's not being able to retain data across sessions, and it's not being able to compare multiple graphs. So we'll probably have to, because someone else created another website just for people to compare graphs. I want to be able to have that natively.
Well, each of them has like 15,000 data point, and so
if you have like 10 graphs, no, it's kind of ridiculous.
it's not free, but yeah, probably something end user want to decide whether or not they'll be able to pay for that.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out. We'll have to figure out a way. We could probably either downsample it, or we could only graph the min data or something like that. So we have a graph like this, and then there's probably a button that says added to the main graph, and then there's gonna be a main graphing a pop-up UI somewhere that.
Yeah, I guess like once you've graphed this, you just have a save or add to compare, and you just give it a title. So okay, this one was Rosaria with Crescent Pike, and you can just save that. Then you can change the weapon or change some other thing, change the forced artifacts, generate another graph, and the other one's still there in the background.
Yeah. So there will be kind of two graphs. There's be a main comparison graph, and there will be, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much data we could retain graph before the graph becomes too laggy to use.
Would it be possible to do it per session, or would that still be useful then?
Yeah, well, it would just be in static memory. There's no way we'll actually store any of the graph data. So it will be per session, unfortunately.
But does that session clear if you change characters, or would that session be global to the site?
It'll be cleared when you change characters, I'm pretty sure.
But if you change tabs, you could keep it? Because there'd be times you go, oh, okay, I do that build with this conditional checked on, go into your talents, tick off another conditional, go back to build, rebuild, and then compare those graphs.
These are kind of implementation details, right? Like we could always worry about those later, I think, because these are kind of problems that will be guaranteed to pop up as we implement them, and we'll just figure out the appropriate situation as we go along. It might just be that we have to back up this data to like a database or something, which you will have to store it on the character. Or if you store it on the character, it generates extra updates.
Yeah, I was more asking, like, is it a limitation of the current graph you're using, or just the way it's set up?
It's more kind of both. When I was originally fiddling with the graphs, there's quite a lot of limitations.
Aren't there already a few things that we put in the URL? It sounds like a redirect. It requires redirection to me.
No, that's fine, because the URL is just a virtual concept. Don't worry about that.
Ah,
Yeah. Either way, the graph, the TC graph improvement, will obviously be done later. And you know, there's other things we could definitely do. We still have a ton of data that we're not leveraging. We could I mean, these are like far off in the future features, but one thing I wanted to do was create like artifact inventory statistics page where we, you know, say, oh, how many percent of your artifact, or have like a pie graph to say how many of your inventory is like, you know, emblem or Shimanawar or gladiators or something. How
that
many of
sounds
your
super cool, but okay.
why not? You know, it's just kind of
Uh,
weird little information that people can look at and say, oh, I have quite a lot of this pieces or something.
I suppose
I
it could
guess
be
it's probably-
interesting in the way that, you know, you can go to the statistics page and go, hey, your most common substat is defense percent. It's like,
Yep.
hey, the most common thing you've rolled into in your artifacts is flat HP. And then people can feel really shit about their account.
Exactly. You know, Genshin Optimizer, more like Genshin Grapher. No, am I
Yeah.
fucking right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
So
the
that, I
domain
mean,
you've farmed the most, you know, the most artifacts you've got is emblem, but they're your shittiest roll value artifacts.
yeah, you know, we could even look at like role value across a specific subset of rangers or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
we have all this data, but we're not really leveraging them in a data sensitive sense. So, you know, there's still a lot of things we could do here. We haven't bloody done them.
What about the
Even
constraint, the build constraint again? One of them is the one of them is like the build better than the current build, and what's the other one? The max.
or better. Well, I mean, that's the one thing you suggested. Another is to implement optimization target on the main constraints.
The main constraint.
The minimum constraint.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that could be another thing. I'm not sure how far that will go into.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the first one either at this point, performance wise.
Well,
Because it also already has an overhead. So.
Yeah, well, it's something we could prototype for sure. Well, these are features that we need to prototype and examine. I say
I already
we
had
could
a
see
prototype
like
of that.
right, yeah. Well, I'm just saying we could see them as being feasible, but now we have to like actually implement it to see if it's like actually feasible.
Yeah, I had one branch where it is on by default, just so like I don't have to bother with the UI, and it doesn't. It seems to be quite heavily dependent on the database you're using. So, in some case, the overhead out cost the benefit. So, kind of hard to say. Like in some cases, it actually slows you down because you still need to compute a minimum on. Yeah.
And then we need to figure out a better way to display this character page because this current character page is laggy as fuck.
Yeah. You probably have to remodel the damage.
I mean, okay. There's two things I can see right now that could make it better. One is pagination, which just only show like, I don't know, 20 or 10 characters at once. Another thing is to, instead of calculating the full team, we just calculate the main character. Because that's what the calculation is doing, right? It's calculating the stats of the character with addition to the stats from the team.
Yeah.
But most of the time, the team stats are temporary. They're rarely. Actually, I mean, okay. In the case of if you have like child on your team, it's not temporary. It's a permanent increase to your normal attack talent. Ugh, headache. But like in most cases, I think we could afford not to calculate the team. That will cut down by calculation by at least half, I think. Assuming you have team stuff set up. And then there's I think React 18 features we could leverage, like batch rendering. I think almost all our rendering frames are calculated due to promises which calculate as extra rendering frames. But in React 18, they're batched together with normal rendering. So we have double renders in most cases, because if we use promise, in any part of the rendering function, it will
And it
double
also
render.
like we render the artifact wrong or something, that it tries to render everything every time when it shouldn't need to. I remember somebody had a discussion somewhere.
Yeah, no, there's quite a lot of things. I think one of the main thing we should do is actually upgrade to React 18 once we have a procedure, right? That's actually gonna just improve a lot of stuff out of the box for us. And then there's also transitions. Remember back one iteration, when there's like the artifact level slider thing, it was implemented weirdly, where if you move the slider, the entire page re-render and recalculates, and it causes massive amount of lag if you use the slider. There's a new tech in React 18 that allows these calculations to be done in a transition. So the calculations are deferred, but if you update the data while the data is being calculated, you'll give up on that calculation and calculate the new.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah. So all these features I kind of want to get into. That's gonna help with us with our stuff. The issue is that there's quite a lot of type issues with React 18 right now, because not all libraries are compatible. I think the biggest one, the most egregious one right now, is the translation library that's not compatible with React 18 right now. But that could be another thing to go on, and that will probably be like, just as long as we get React 18 working, it would be quite a lot of improvement out of the box. Either way, there's always more work to be done, but in terms of this big UI rejig, other than some of the smaller stuff, we could start focusing on new features now.
Yeah, I think overall it's been pretty successful. Like, there's a couple of tiny little flow issues that have cropped up that a few users have brought up, but all in all, it's gone pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe we'll finally get into some of the big meats and potato once these smaller changes wrap up, like the multi-target optimization and weapon optimization.
I think multi-target has to come first. The more I think about weapon optimization, it gets messy.
Yeah,
especially with build previews and TC graphs and toggling of different conditionals.
Yeah, no, TC graphs is definitely going to be a fucking mess. But just even without TC graphs, it's still gonna be a mess, because right now each build, the only difference is the artifacts. But now if you're looking at the weapons, headache.
In that case, you need to be able to force certain things because you're literally checking the difference between different sets or different weapons to get a percentage going. How much better or worse is this on my account? Which is kind of secondary to the main purpose of Optimizer, where you just want to find out what's the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a ton more nuance in terms of weapon optimization because of quite a lot of weapon depends on non-static stats.
Yeah, like anything like
Which
the Favonius series, where you're using those weapons for the elemental, sorry, not the energy recharge, which in turn lets you use your burst more often. So in game, that's going to be higher DPS, possibly.
that's
but in the Optimizer,
that's tangible in game, but not tangible on the Optimizer. There's no fundamental way to resolve this.
It comes back to the user understanding what they need for certain minimums and such.
Combo Optimizer when.
Well, I mean, okay, or we have a combo optimizer, or we somehow find a way to find a heuristic that says that for something like, there's a 20% chance to reset skill cooldown. Can we amortize that damage? If you have 80, no, you can't actually. That's assuming you're gonna cast it after. I mean, with Xingqiu, yeah, if you get an E reset, you cast E again. So that means that effectively it will be a 80% increase in damage on your E. So you could create a delta time amortization calculation over that. Yeah, there's still some of the smaller changes I want to do. Like, for example, right now in the inventory page you have right now, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're gonna find like one missing space.
Actually, I had never noticed that before. Thank you for pointing that out.
Well, I guess that's gonna make you sleep easy tonight then. So yeah, so I think we could make it so that that gap disappear. But if it really annoys you staying, I guess we just gonna have to keep it in.
We'll see how I go over the next couple of days.
Bloodshot eyes start twitching.
I mean, I lasted a good couple of months with the S missing on settings.
And every time you look at the character, there's that toggle and that button drop down having different heights.
Yep.
I think you're learning to cope with that.
I'm not.
Yes, you are. You definitely are.
This Team Infusion thing, off by like 2 pixels. My god. I see 6 by Bennett for less than this.
If we get it fixed within the next week or so, we could save him a ton of money in therapy bills. What makes you angry, Derek? Well, there's this website you see. One of the button is 2 pixels off, and it makes me want to murder someone.
Oh, I feel the murder. All right.
Huh. Lanchua, you should read this feature request.
What? What happened? On the orange line. I mean, I wish I wish I can do that too.
The issue is that it's kind of like a chicken and egg problem, isn't it? The only way we know the orange line is we have the entire subset of the builds, but we can't include all the results from the builds.
Yeah.
Feasibly.
Yeah.
Can we? No, we can't.
I
So
mean, yeah, I mean, those are the plot are the bare minimum that we need that we are generating because
well,
like we have no
no,
better way to do it.
okay. The min graph or the min lines generated on the downsample data. Is it feasible for us to retain all the build result for the downsample data? Actually, it's not entirely unfeasible because
It's-
we'll basically be. Yeah, what is a build? A build is basically one build result number plus what 5 IDs for the artifacts.
Well, we only need the ID, right, to replicate everything. So that's
Yeah,
just 5 numbers.
but we also carry over the calculated number in the builder because we don't want to recalculate all those fucking data on the UI side. Right? Because if the builder already did it, why are we recalculating on the UI side? So that's basically 6 data or 6 subset of data, I guess. 5 string, 1 number, and then we just need to remember it for the entire downsample data size, which is what 1500.
Yeah, 1500. So we
Which is
need only like data for 1500 builds. But I think this feature is just like, yeah, why don't we just show the orange line? I mean, I guess we can do everything and just filter out until we get a current orange line, right?
yeah, we'll have to carry so much results over, but I don't think that's inherently bad. But it's not inherently good because instead of storing the top 10, we'll be storing the top 1500. Actually, no, it wouldn't be the top 1500 even. Well, technically, it will be the top 1500.
No. What are we talking about now? Like you're talking about storing these builds in the storage, right? Or
No, just not in the storage, just in static memory. Basically, it has to be passed into the main UI, and then the main UI generates this orange line based on the downsample data. So effectively, we'll have to store all the downsample data and their associated builds, in which we already kind of do.
yeah, we kind of do that already. And well, we don't technically we actually just show center around the build number. So that's why we recalculate it on the UI actually. No, sorry. What am I talking about? Yeah,
Either
you're
way,
right. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
that's actually not inherently a bad idea, but we definitely need more thought.
Yeah.
Do you think it's
Okay.
possible?
I mean, for one, it probably is, but whatever we do is not gonna improve the build time. It sounds like this one is, yeah, it's not gonna improve the build time for sure. But
Well,
like
yeah,
if you want to make like the graph looks nicer, that's something you could do, I guess.
yeah. This I think they also get this will probably get folded within the general TC graph update, if nothing else.
Yeah. Like when I read it first time, I was like, okay, can we just build the orange line? Yeah, I mean, I want to
We just
do
build
that
the
too.
orange line.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking funny. Literally
Or
chicken
that
egg problem.
yeah, that would be so dope if we can figure out how. Like, yeah, we just create an Oracle machine.
I mean, would it be too difficult to do that actually?
Exactly that. Just build the orange line.
Yeah, because fundamentally this is basically you're evaluating optimization target against the base stats, right? So you basically need to create specific breakpoints. Actually, no, that would be a pain in the ass. Yeah, and in terms of calculation, it would actually be a lot more.
Yeah.
Mm,
As I said,
yeah,
it's doable as like a TC graph, as a TC graph UI update, but it doesn't like the idea doesn't improve the build process in any way.
I think fundamentally he just wants to make these builds clickable. I think that we just make these builds clickable.
Yeah. I think you can do that already, like information wise.
The information wise, but in terms of UI wise, we haven't we haven't done that
Well,
yet.
we'll go figure it. Good luck with that.
Yeah, that's the pain in the ass.
Like even the orange line is generated on the UI side, so you can also do like draw only orange line on the UI side. That's probably what you need to do actually.
Yeah, no,
Like
no. Oh, well, okay, yeah. So I mean, yeah, this is probably gonna get folded into, I guess, general improvements for a lot of these. And then with weapons, it will just actually with weapons, it will just be another string in the data, so relatively minimal overhead. Assuming all data stays the same, of course. Well, anyways, I think we've talked enough about the optimizer. I'm honestly very much sick of the optimizer right now.
Yeah, I think this is the longest
Yeah.
one we've done so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable future, at least in terms of how this podcast is gonna go, we'll I mean, we'll definitely actually like advertise that we're having this podcast instead of just scheduling it and don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Well, is this a podcast or I feel stupid stream? No, this is the us trying to wind down the stream. Basically, if anyone else is listening, we talk about stuff that's so incredibly dry and boring. They either fall asleep or leave. But for the foreseeable future, we'll try to say we'll try to at least have an announcement of when the next stream is, when have a countdown.
I mean, when
We'll
you say
probably
incredibly, oh, sorry.
well, no, I'm
Sorry,
just
sorry.
thinking in terms of what we do. I think we should actually create like a Genshin Optimizer Twitch channel. I mean, it's free.
Yeah.
Have like and then the actual Genshin Optimizer Twitter. And then just basically just funnel everything onto the same platform.
There are people still here. Quick, look for something dry and boring.
Well, I think this is getting dry and boring enough already. We might.
I think we've dragged it out enough. I think 2 people are still listening. Apparently, you've got 7 viewers on Twitch, but that's probably all of us.
Probably. That's the 4 people in this room, plus the 2 listening, plus I think Uniforce is still here.
Yeah.
Even though he's probably falling into like catatonic sleep already.
Unfortunately.
Anyways,
should we call it there and
we'll call it there, and we'll see each other in the next stream in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't be so scuffed. Maybe we'll have some talking points beforehand.
Maybe we'll have some talking points. Maybe we won't use level 1 Mona into the 412.
Let's start with having a plan. That
the plan is to have a plan. There we go.
The plan is to have a plan. Yes. There it is.
It's just good. All right. Peace.
I mean, we could also get people to like submit questions ahead of time.
Just use a social media. Use like a Genshin Optimizer Twitter.
Yeah. And we'll just say to tweet your questions. We'll answer them on stream. Twitter Optimizer where? Twitter Optimizer soon TM. And Twitch Optimizer soon TM.
Okay, well, we'll shut the stream off. Thanks for anyone that was watching.
Yep.
And see you in 2 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully you had a good nap.
All right. Peace.
Peace.